All right, hello, Cheerskevin here, and welcome to the final episode of Nowhere. I'm very excited. Let me show you around. I've done a little bit of cleaning up, a little bit of additional automation. We are going to be getting the final creative items this episode, and I'm very excited. So, first thing I did, we've got the improved blast furnace up and running. It's been here for a while, but we actually threw a storage bus on this thing. So now we have steel accessible to our AE system. That's going to be very important. I took down our Tinker smeltery and replaced it with these, just a bunch of magma crucibles. And the reason that I did that is that this allows us to do some nice, easy automation stuff, because the Tinker Smelter is kind of hard to automate, but we can set up some interfaces, and we can say, hey, give me one if I want one Electrum gear crafted, auto-crafted, all I need to do is supply this interface with 4 Electrum ingots, and what that'll do is it'll throw it into this magma crucible, which will convert it to the liquid form. That will push out into this casting table, so we're still using the Tinker's casting stuff, and then immediately pull the item out and push it into our system. And, of course, we've got the dark matter pedestal that speeds all of this process up. And so now we have recipes here for a whole bunch of gears and for a whole bunch of plates. And then finally for the just the plain gold cast. We've got that one as well, because that is part of our, we need that for the creative modifier. That's a base ingredient here. So the reason that I went through and decided, hey, we need to do a lot more automation is that if we look at the creative EMC storage cell, we just crafted the creative reservoir at the end of the last episode. And that required 3 creative RF sources, which you thought that was difficult. The creative EMC storage cell, which is the next step in our journey, requires 4 creative reservoirs and 3 creative power cells. Okay, so 4 creative reservoirs, that means we need to make a whole bunch of reservoirs with all of those liquids we gathered up. Now, actually, this isn't going to be too difficult. We just need to create the empty reservoirs and then fill them, but we can fill them with our existing creative reservoir. We'll get to that in a minute. But the real challenge comes into the final item, because this is going to require 4 creative EMC storage cells. Remember, we haven't even crafted that yet, but those require 4 of these reservoirs, creative reservoirs, and then an additional 4 of those, and then a bunch of these, and a bunch of 64K ME storage cells, and then a bunch of creative RF sources. All of these require RF sources, and as we drill down, creative RF sources kind of all the way down here. I think I totaled it up. It's something like 75 creative RF sources that we need to craft, and I could have spent a whole bunch of off-camera time automating that, crafting that. But instead, I said, you just made some modifications to our existing setup to let us automate some of this stuff. And believe it or not, we are pretty much using absolutely everything now. We don't have anything that's not contributing. We have over here, actually on this side is probably the least used. We just have the alloy smelter that is there to make our Enderium ingots, which we need as, I think, the final tier of the one of the items for their creative RF sources. Yeah, for the resonant cell frame, we need the resonant upgrade kit, which requires Enderium, which does not have EMC. The way that we get it is by putting stuff into the alloy smelter. So we've got that. Over here, I've automated our IC2 stuff. This is all just getting kind of the base ingredients of our creative RF. We needed the MFSU, that required Lapitron crystals and MFEs and assorted materials. So we have a couple of, I'm just going to go through these interfaces. We have the, creating copper cable and gold cable, throwing those into the metal former. We've got a creative generator here to power all of that. And then we have the compressor, which has 2 recipes here, or 3 recipes. We have one that creates the energy crystal from Energium dust. And, it's a compressor. It switches things. It makes advanced alloys and then making carbon plate. There are some crafting recipes that we had to add to make this work as well. I've got 2 fluid transposers that we're going to use to fill up our reservoirs once we get there. And beyond that, we haven't really made any significant modifications. I've just added a bunch more crafting recipes to our big crafting system, and I think I had to add a couple more interfaces to make that happen. One thing that has changed is we have more creative RF sources. I've been testing our automation to make sure we can go from basically nothing. We want to be able to get from EMC to crafting a full creative RF source, and by that token being able to get up to creating more reservoirs and whatnot, because we're going to need 4 of these to get up to here. And that meant I could actually swap out our power cells and put creative RF sources here, which makes this crafting nice and fast. No longer are we going to drain our system in the process. I also moved the pedestal over here. What this does is actually avoids this bug that we had with this system for locking up our crafting to make sure this this only runs one recipe at a time. So this actually works now. I don't have to worry about catching it. We can basically AFK here as soon as this thing fires up. But okay. That's enough blathering for me. There's one tiny little step here that I'm going to go over. We had a system in place before for getting ourselves the cryo. Is that correct? What is that? Blizz powder. Thank you for getting blizz powder. And we were using generating solidified experience from here. And getting that into the system and blah, 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 blah. Well, now we don't need to take solidified experience because we have our creative reservoir. We can just use infinite liquid XP, right? Because we've got this. So I have the fluid transposer here set to extract. And all it's doing is it's taking liquid experience out. And it permanently can do this because this thing has an infinite amount of liquid XP in it. And that throws things onto snowballs, which we're just getting from an energy collector, and creating this, this cryothium, this blizz dust, which of course then we can use for cryothium, which we needed for something in the creative RF source, because these were the two that we didn't really have automated yet. The MFSU, which is the IC2 stuff, and then the resonant cell frame. And it's at one point, there we go, cryothium dust. So we need to be able to craft that, and this does not have EMC. So, and of course then just throw a storage bus on this, and then that's available to our AE system as well. So here's the gist, ladies and gentlemen. We are now able to, and just happen to have two in the system right now, we are able to craft from scratch. You'll see this is an 18.5 kilobyte recipe. We're able to craft from scratch a creative RF source, and that's pretty awesome. Now, I didn't do this additional automation-y stuff on camera because this is all stuff that we've done manually in the past, and it didn't feel like it was going to be anything particularly exciting. But we will go ahead and we'll run one of these recipes and we'll kind of see this whole thing going. So if we look, there we go. What's it doing right now? It's going to start doing, one of the things it's going to do is you'll see it's dropping a whole bunch of stuff. It's doing I guess the atomic reconstructor has to create some items. Then we have to create some empowered items. I think this is to create the creative upgrades. The creative modifiers, because those are, well, actually, no, I don't remember. Well, some of the base ingredients for the draconic stuff, the infusion crafting. I guess the only thing that's still up here that isn't being used is our whole system for generating canola, because we don't need the liquid anymore. But yeah, I'm excited that we have a need for the coke oven and the blast furnace, that they're all sort of pulling their weight. And then if we come over here, I think this will start. Yeah, it's already running. It's in the process. It's throwing this stuff up, and of course now this still runs very fast. But now that the pedestal is out of range of the redstone here, we don't have this key we have a key lock system. It hangs out in here to make sure that the interface doesn't put stuff in there until we're done crafting. And just moving the pedestal out of the way means that we can basically craft continuously now, and it never gets blocked up. Now, of course, this is going to still take a while. I think one of the slower areas is just creating the alloys. I don't think it's doing well. Either that or it's done. Or let's see. What are we doing now? We are okay. So we've still got draconic-y stuff. Okay, yeah. So we've got 2 more draconic crafting. And actually, we're not too far off from done. We're making some more empowered stuff, some more solidified. Wait, are you trying to make solidified experience and? No, okay, we're empowering over here. And basically all of this is as sped up as we can get it, okay? So let's see, we got 1 more of these to go, and I'm curious to see kind of how long this actually takes, because I haven't been paying attention, but it's not terribly long that we can basically go to having an automated RF. And I guess this is the last one of this skeleton skull. And if you remember, this is something that took a very long time. The first time we did it, I had to disappear for, an hour and let this thing run, because we had to build up a lot of power to do it. I thought that was the last one. No? All right. I forget how many of these exactly we needed. Let's see. How are we looking? Oh, okay. We're in the middle of crafting the chaos shard. So we are very, very close. And now, yes, the fusion crafting core. Honestly, the slowest part of this right now is just moving the materials. And I think we have. Are we using the highest tier? Yeah, okay, we are. This is just a relatively long pipe, but that's all right. And now, yep, there we go. That's the last precursor element, and we should now have the remaining material. So it should be starting. Yep, it's starting that craft. It is sending MFSUs that it created from scratch, creative modifiers, draconic stuffs, all the materials, and there we go. We have a creative RF source. It is done. Cool. So now we have one more block that provides us with infinite power. And of course, we can craft this into the creative power cell, and we can craft that into the creative, the IC2 version of creative stuff. And we can craft it back. So that's pretty awesome. We're going to need like 75 of those, though, because we're going to need, well, the next step is for us to create this creative EMC storage cell. And that's going to require us to create a couple more reservoirs. And the reservoirs are going to require some attuned rock crystals. And yeah, then we're going to have to duplicate all of these fluids. Now, what we're going to have to do to duplicate, let me take out some reservoirs here. Yeah, so I've got 12 resonant reservoirs. And of course, these don't stack, which is fine. One thing that we're going to need to do, though, is, yeah, for the 4, we're going to need to get kind of 4 full sets of these liquids to make 4 more of these. I guess I should have that on the recipe as well, because we're going to need 4 of those as part of the EMC storage cell recipe. We're going to need, yeah, a set of 4 of each of these. So to get that, it's actually fairly straightforward. We're just going to go ahead and say, let's see, this fluid transposer is set to empty, and then this one is going to be set to fill. So we'll put this in here, and as soon as there's liquid in here, it should put it into this reservoir. So what I'm going to do, just as a starter example, is I'm going to take this creative reservoir and put it in here. And this is going to take out stuff and put it into the liquid buffer. I'll tell this thing to eject over to this side. And then on here, we'll say, go ahead and input. And there we go. Now we have filled the non-creative reservoir with a whole bunch of this. Now it's going a little bit slow because these aren't upgraded or anything, but they do have power on the back. And then once this is done, we'll have these reservoirs all nice and full. Then all we'll have to do is we'll have to take this creative reservoir out and go throw it into here, pop another thing like Boho lava or whatever into it, so that we can basically flag it with a different liquid, and then create 4 more resonant reservoirs. Resonant reservoirs with that particular material. So I've got a lot of stuff to gather up, and yeah, I will see you when I have all that ready to go. Okay, ladies and gents, I think we finally have the materials. We have a tier 8 EMC. Well, for the creative EMC storage cell, the next step in our creativity journey. This one here, and then man, this is the end, the epilogue. I'm excited to read it. But okay, the creative EMC. Look at the recipe. We need. We're going to need 3 creative RF. We have 18 of those so far because we're going to need more. We need 4 creative modifiers. We have, I swore I had them. Creative modifiers. Well, we've got 6. Fair enough. That's fine. We need some dense EMC crystals. Dense EMC crystals, 64 should do. And then we're going to need 4 more creative reservoirs. And then, yeah, that should do it. Now, the creative reservoirs, we have the material, we have the technology. It's just a matter of getting it all crafted. The other thing that we're going to need for that, though, is a bunch more attuned rock crystals. So yeah, we're gonna have to do that. I have over here all 4 of each of the different types of fluids that we're going to need. I'm going to load this thing up with some empties as well. How many empties do we need for each of these? 1, 2, 3. Okay, so we're going to need 12 empty reservoirs. And unfortunately, those don't stack. We'll just grab a whole bunch of them. And then I will gonna plop that down and then just get a bunch of rock crystals from here. For those, we're gonna need 8 per reservoir, so 8 times 4, so 32 of those, which means we're gonna have to craft up some more as well. All right, so just plopping down our materials here, and I don't know if I got these in the right order, probably not. Oh, that's actually not too bad. Are any of these already attuned? Any of the things that I pulled out? I thought one of them were, well, looks, oh, there's one attuned one. Fair enough. But yeah, we're going to have to do some tuning, and I discovered the constellation we're tuned to, of course, is not out just yet. I do have a whole bunch of these surrounding here, which is nice because as soon as as long as the constellation's out, we should be able to chuck these in, and they should attune nice and quickly. Okay, I think the stack in our hand is all attuned now, so that's good. Let me throw some of these away. Actually, yeah, we'll throw some of these in here. I also grew a couple of celestial crystals between episodes just because we'll eventually need those, and that should cut down on time. So we'll need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of these, and then we need one of each. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different types of fluids. And I think, yeah, I should be able to shift click this in here now. Yes. Awesome. And then resonating wand on that. We'll let that go. And in the meantime, while those craft up, I will get some more rock crystals and go through the attuning. And I realized, yeah, I can just stand here. I've been avoiding it because I was worried, hey, I'd end up attuning myself. But since we're already attuned, it's not an issue. Sorry about that. And then it's going to ask for one of those. And then it's going to ask for one of those. There you go. There's that. And then it will ask for that. But I don't think we can put them... I don't think we can sort of preload those things in. Okay. And, yeah, there you go. Have fun. 10. And then 3 empty... we don't have the space for 3 empty ones. All right. We can't even pick it up. Oh, man. I guess we'll put some of this stuff away. There we go. Another creative. Hooray for us. And then we need 3 empty reservoirs. Is that 3 of them? I'm not sure. We'll see. Nope. Oh, we're missing one. Missing something. Yeah, and that's the reason you can't pre-place these, is that it does pick a different spot where it wants you to put the stuff each time. I guess, though, maybe it'll let me get away with that. We'll find out. I mean, I presume it's got to be okay with that, right? Who knows? Okay, we have 4 of the reservoirs. I think we should be good to go. Let's give this a shot. So, creative EMC storage cell, plug in the recipe, and we have the starlight, which is great news because, I mean, we've maxed out the altar, so we had better have the starlight. Creative power cells, we'll convert one of those over. There we go. And we just got to plop these in when it asks for them. And we should have this one in the bag. Now, this is, as far as I understand, this is going to provide us with unlimited EMC in our AE system. But, of course, the other step is that we need 4 of them as part of our creative ME storage cell recipe. So that's also pretty big. And there we go. Creative EMC. Haha, quest completed. Okay, we're going to take that for now. We've still got... Yeah, now the hard one. This took a while to get, but the hard one is here, the creative EMC storage cell. Just as a reminder, we need to craft 3 more. We could use this. I think we'll end up crafting 4 more though. Just because we've still got a lot more creative RF sources to craft up. I mean, we used a bunch. We used 4 times 3 plus 4. So yeah, we used 16 RF sources, creative RF sources total, just in getting that one done. If you consider the 4 reservoirs and then the recipe itself, the main recipe. Yeah, so we're gonna need an awful lot more. We're gonna have to do a lot more auto crafting, and it takes a while. So I guess we'll head back. Let me grab these, and we'll at least install this into our system, and then I've got a lot of resources to craft up. I mean, it's all just the same. I just want to look at stored items, and I think we actually should be able to see the total amount of EMC in the system. Yes, there you go. Okay, so this is the amount of EMC total that we have: 1024,999,872. I'm going to guess that's probably just a maximum capacity thing. So we might not get a benefit from installing this, but it is there. Oh, and okay, we're back online. Let's see. There we go. Oh, no, look at that. EMC 921699872. Okay, so we have now effectively limitless EMC. We no longer need to generate EMC. We will always be able to pull it out of our system, so we no longer need this to be sitting here generating EMC for us, so we can get rid of this this power flower over here. And goodbye, energy that was kind of foolish. Well, we had that going into an improved EMC condenser, which imported EMC directly into our system, which was nice. But yeah, we're gonna have to let that despawn. We cannot craft 65 of these in one go. It is too complex. We could improve our autocrafter, but easiest is just to split it up. And it did take quite a while just to get us our initial 16. So it's gonna be a little bit of AFK time for me. And then just thinking about how many reservoirs we're going to need. The EMC is so 4 of these creative EMC storage cells. So 4 times 4, so 16 plus an additional 4 at the top level here. So we're going to have to generate 20 of those. And I suppose I should just show how we've been using the reservoir so far. I'll probably go and make another one real quick just to make this a little bit of a faster process. But basically throw this in here. It pushes stuff out. It immediately pulls stuff into here. This is, basically I've been kind of AFKing a little bit to let these fill up. I've been putting empty reservoirs up here. They pull down, fill up as this stuff gets in here. It tosses over about 5 buckets every tick, or every second, tosses it in here. Once that gets full, it gets shunted into here. And yeah, we need 4 of them for each creative. So yeah, I'm going to get a lot of this stuff crafted up. Well, I'll be back when we have all the materials to create our ME storage cell. Okay, so I have been busy gathering up a whole bunch of stuff, and I think we're pretty well ready to go. And of course, we're just going to cut away again. But I wanted to show you all this stuff together in one place before I started crafting it all up. Because yeah, we've got a lot of cooking to do. I made the reinforced storage crates from Immersive Engineering, so I could throw a bunch of stuff in there and bring them over. Lots of rock crystals, which we're going to need. Some empty reservoirs, and then 20 of every single fluid type. Which it went fine. We got it done. We've got, stacks upon stacks upon stacks of this stuff. And then in my inventory, we have a stack and almost a stack and a half of creative RF sources. We have a bunch of 64 ME storage cells, which wasn't hard because we already had that auto-crafting from a long time ago when we were actually working on our ME system. Whew. So my calculations suggest we're going to need 20 of these creative RF sources, because we need to then create 4 creative EMC storage cells, and then plus an additional 4 to go around the outside. That's going to mean a lot of tuning rock crystals. It's going to mean a lot of getting rid of these materials, and I'll probably have to run back to get some more rock crystals, I think, because I don't think this is going to be enough. We probably need a couple more resonant reservoirs as well. This did take a lot longer than I expected, just because in particular, just the MFSU. These crystals, sometimes the recipe worked, sometimes it didn't, so I had to sort of manually shepherd some of that, so it was a combination of manual stuff and automatic stuff. And then the infusion crafting, it was a lot more reliable, but it wasn't 100% reliably auto-crafting. I had to go ahead and get it unstuck every so often. So, it took the better part of a day. We're going to go ahead and, now this is the real manual part, because we can't just kind of autocraft all of these. I need to sit here and because it's going to ask for one of the creative sources and in one form and one in another form, and so I've got to make sure to put them in the right slots for it to complete each craft. So gotta go ahead and do this about 20 times, and then I'll see you in a little bit. Okay, we have used up just about everything, and I think we are ready to finally test this out, or ready to craft our creative ME storage cell. So I have a bunch of 64 ME cells, some creative ME storage cells. What else do we need? Oh man, this has been a fun challenge. It gets the end. I will say that these last 2, they are very, very grindy. But hey, we're gonna feel so good to have this completed. So I'm excited. I think that was everything that we needed. Was that everything? I've been making so many darn things here. Right, some creative modifiers. I think we have some of those. Do I not have enough of those? There we go. Yep, creative modifiers just hanging out in there. And creative ME storage cell, the very final creative tier item, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, it's not going to craft right away because it needs those secondary items. So we'll have to plop those in as it asks for them. One in there. And then we've got the creative generator and the creative power cell. Oh my goodness. We are going to beat the pack right here, ladies and gentlemen. This is very, very exciting. And believe it or not, this is the final. This is the first one we've actually fully completed. I've had a couple of series that we've kind of decided not to finish. That we kind of made enough progress, and this is the one we're full on completing this. So, so I'm excited about that. All right, come on, you astral monster. We'll just bring the moon back up here because I would hate for this thing to drain on the early side. There we go. Okay. Creative storage cell. We have now completed the creativity chapter. And this creative storage cell, let's see exactly what this does. Because I'm not 100% sure how this one works, but we will find out. So, I mean, in theory, if we had unlocked this one, it would have enabled us to make further progress sooner. I did also improve this crafting a little bit because I needed the tier 8 EMC stuff, and that took a while. So if we put this in, I'm imagining they're going to go offline. Okay, things stay online. Does this mean we can pull out an infinite amount of anything? I'm going to guess, but I don't know. Let's see real quick. Okay, apparently we need the cell workbench to configure this thing, and we actually have the tools to do that. We need a chest. Well, oh no. Okay, make me a chest, please. And then we can configure this thing to provide us with the stuff that we want. But we actually have to configure the cell. And we can tell it which items it should be set up to work with. So I guess I don't know, not that we necessarily need this, but why not? We'll go ahead and set this up. Creative enemy storage cell. And then if we plop this in here, we should be able to say, okay, so then say if I wanted to tell it linking tools, so it's not going to give us stuff that we haven't discovered. Let's take control, copy partition storage, blah, blah, blah. Let's take that out and then just test it. This is now configured. And I think generally you use this to say, this particular storage cell, I only want to be storing ores on it or whatever. But in this case, we should now be able to say linking tool. Yeah, we have we have a huge amount of linking tools in there. And that number, I'm guessing, is not gonna decrease as we pull them out. No, it does not. Awesome. Okay, so we would have to configure this, but we can now duplicate as many of these items as we would want. And I'm wondering, actually, can we shift click these into here? So like, could I drag? No, so I couldn't. I'd have to make another one, I guess, to tell it that this is oh no, there we go. No, okay. Oh well. But we can now bypass a whole bunch of stuff. We now have an infinite amount of creative RF in there. We have an infinite amount of creative reservoirs in there. Lots of cool stuff like that. Oh, that's fun. But okay, ladies and gentlemen, we have, oh man, this has been fun. We have a storage cell. Now, unfortunately, it doesn't let us sort of easily create items that we have not yet encountered, so we would have to still construct stuff. There's still stuff that we didn't end up completing. We didn't go through and create all of the, let's say all of the astral sorcery stuff. There's an item or two in thermal expansion we didn't have to create, but not a big deal there. Psi we didn't really get into. Again, we did make the Psi gem and the Psi metal ingot for recipes, but we really didn't need spells for stuff. There are a couple things in our tools we didn't need. A little bit of stuff inside of Ender.io, and we got most of these things done as well. We're gonna go ahead and say that we have fairly done a good job of completing this. Even though we didn't. Yeah. So IC2 going into nuclear stuff. We're good. Let's take our final bow and take a look at this book. Yeah, now when we started off, we spawned into this world that was entirely made of dirt. There was no vegetation. There was nothing. And just to remind you, to refresh your memory, the beginning of this pack started off thusly. You thought you'd be clever and crash the Alchemist Guild's induction ceremony. You thought you'd impress them and be welcomed. Turned out you were wrong. But at least they decided to let you try out, so here you are, stuck on a lifeless world with nothing but a book, a magical stone, and a promise of a portal home once you've proven yourself. Time to get crafting. Okay, so from those beginnings, we got ourselves a short little EMC farm. We got ourselves to the tablet, and then finally built ourselves a little base in the skies. And we have this whole thing rigged up, all just to get us to this final creative level. And let's take a look at the epilogue. Congratulations, you have surpassed all of our expectations for a prospective member of our guild. We have been watching you and have taken your discoveries to add to the wealth of the knowledge we possess. Before you arrived, we were living like kings in this world, and now, thanks to you, we are as gods. It felt like only yesterday that we were taking bets on whether or not you would survive the banishing. I suppose it's time to tell you the truth. We were never planning on bringing you back. This was a one-way trip from the very beginning. You should have spent more time thinking about manners and less about impressing us. Oh my goodness. So yeah, while our adventures in nowhere may have ceased, there is no return for us. We are doomed to live out the rest of our existence on this little rock. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it for us for this Nowhere series. I hope you have enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. What you thought of the mod pack? What you thought of the series? We have completed it. I am very excited. I hope that I will see you around in other series. And yeah, that's going to do it for me. So have a fantastic one. Cheers.